Welcome back to the breakdown. I am DELACREMEDELA, your privileged host, and this is the day. This is the breakdown show. This is the DELACREMEDELA channel. Thank you so much for being here. We have a little bit of a jam-packed episode today because I came across two separate videos with different pieces of information that I want to make sure we stay abreast of. Before I go into those videos, allow me please to review our house rules. I'll review them very quickly. Number one, this is not a no judgment zone. Number two, this is not for kids. Number three, if you can't avoid criticizing black people, yet you are not black, this probably ain't for you. But let me tell you, let me give you a way to gauge whether or not you should be criticizing black people. If you don't know enough about black people to know why we put plastic on our sofa, if you don't know which sofas get the plastic and how that plastic is applied, which is a bonus, because I don't think we even know that. If you don't understand the etymology and the cultural significance of plastic on the sofa for American Negroes, then just stick to the conversation about business and politics. If it really gets under your craw that I tell you not to criticize black people, just click off here. Don't tell me in the comments that it upsets you. I don't give a fuck. Some people like to go around the world telling everybody else who they are, how they should behave, and what to do. But they can't stand when somebody else tells them what they can't do. Well, this is something you cannot do. Inside this chat, these comments, this conversation, if you are not a black American person, then you have no room to criticize black people. That's not what we invited you here for. Share your business insight, share your political insight, share your opinions as that is pertained. But this ain't no, y'all voted for this, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a fuck? This topic is so old now that if you comment, you get what you voted for, then we know you ain't paying no attention. Okay? You just look like an idiot at this point. Copy pasting the same shit all over the place. Let me give you number 4. Number 4 is please stay on topic. Okay? Whatever is being discussed here is what we should be discussed. But if you have a off-topic conversation that you want to have, tell us which channel to come watch you on. Okay, so for that, I would suggest that if you're not subscribed to this channel, or if you haven't been familiar with this content, sit back and watch a little bit before you jump in and chat. Even if we mention your favorite YouTuber, and you don't like what we say about them, sit back, watch the content, and respectfully, quietly disagree before you decide to join in. Because if you come in hot and heavy and you look stupid, I will literally I don't time people out. I don't. My moderators might. They have the freedom to make that decision. I'm not the type of person to time people out. I don't do it in my personal life. You either in or you out, bitch. So I'm the type of bitch that'll just hide you. You end up in the ethers somewhere. So that's rule number 4. Just stay on topic. Anyway, after all of that, welcome to the breakdown. If you would take a minute in the chat and just say hello to each other. Ask each other how each other is doing on this beautiful day. And also, if you would do me a favor, just help me do a little troubleshooting. If you would get out of the live chat if you're in it right now, or get out of the comments if you're in those right now, go all the way up, right up under the video, and just take a look and see if you've hit the like button on this video. If you haven't, let me know you can hear me and see me, okay, by hitting that like button. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. And now if you would, stay right where you are, but let your eyes move all the way over to the right. Now, do you see a button that says subscribe, or do you see a bell? If it says subscribe, then that's what you need to do. Go ahead and hit that button until it turns into a bell. And then change that bell, those notifications, to all, so that you don't miss anything here. okay? So that you can stay on top of all of this, all right? Thank you so much for doing that. And I also want to invite you, if you haven't already, to join us on Patreon. Shout outs to our patrons on Patreon. I look forward to bringing all the names to us so that we can celebrate our growing, beautiful Patreon family. That's the place where you get the exclusive content. That's the place where you get the early updates and the early episodes. That's also the place where we have that 24/7 breakdown chat too. Y'all be dropping me little pieces of information in there I need so I can go get our next episode together. Now, shout outs to everybody who's here. Officially, welcome, welcome, welcome to the passengers, the crew, to the stowaways, to all of you who are here for the breakdown. Welcome. Okay, hopefully you feel nice and welcome. All right, so what we're going to do today is I was curious all day about whether or not there was a meeting at Thornton Township. Remember, Thornton Township is not a geographical location. It is a public assistance center. Okay, it's just like your mall might be called Rivertown Crossing, but it's not actually a crossing of sorts. It's a mall near the corner of two pieces of territory. So it's called crossing. But this Thornton Township is just a public assistance center. There's no government of Thornton Township. Okay. I have to make that mention. What we're going to watch first is going to be a video of the meeting from tonight at the Thornton Township building. It was their monthly board meeting, I believe. I want to give a special thank you to Burgundy Blue Commentary for being there tonight. She didn't know what to expect. She didn't know what she was walking herself into. She went, and she went, and she stayed all the way to the end. So I want to thank you. I want to give a special thank you to Burgundy Blue Commentary. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to Burgundy Blue Commentary. And definitely follow my lead and donate to her Cash App, because she uses her personal resources to cover this Dolton shit. She uses her own vehicle, her own gas. She be buying snacks for the seniors and shit. So please definitely support her, both by subscribing to the channel, watching her content, and supporting the channel. But if your heart is so moved to drop her a Cash App or so for gas money, I definitely would if I were you. That's some good karma. So I want to go ahead and start with this video. If you'll notice, it's only 21 minutes and 48 seconds. And that should tell you a lot right there. This entire video is 21 minutes and 48 seconds. Now, I'm going to give some credit to Tiffany Henyard. Burgundy did show up a little late. She showed up right at the Pledge of Allegiance, which, if you ask me, she got there just in time. Okay? She got there right in time for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we know that's the first thing on the list, other than maybe a prayer. So technically, what you see is what you're going to get as far as this entire meeting is concerned. What I want to do is I want to break down some of the content of this meeting. We will be skipping through some of the procedure that's not so necessary. But the fireworks are going to come at the very end, and like a premature ejaculation, they're going to come very quickly. So we're going to stay very focused together. We might even have to watch this or a couple parts a couple times because it happens just that quick. And just to let you know what's on our agenda as well, we're also going to go back and take a second look at those Dolton subpoenas, because I saw that Dane Placco released an extended story. He added about a minute, 90 more seconds, it looks, or sorry, 50 more seconds. He added 50 more seconds of content, which is a lot in the news world. We saw how much he got out in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So for any of us who have not already seen this extra bit of content and how he put this second story together, because he focused on a different subpoena. So I wanted to take a look at that video as well. And then we should be out of here from there. So why don't we start with the video by Burgundy Blue Commentary. It's available on her channel. I'm going to see what I can do to get some captions on here, because the sound is a little muffled. And let me see if we can get the live chat to play as well. So this video for now is going to be about more about what you hear than what you see. The very first person who's going to speak is, I'm not going to call him Mr. I never would. His name is Michael Smith. He's a part of some imaginary organization called the Democrats of Thornton Township. I haven't heard this come out of his mouth. A lot of us have tried to solve this puzzle for his ignorant ass as to what dots means when you spell it DOTTS. He never did explain it, even to this day. He's never explained to us what DOTTS means. We've just had to figure that shit out on our own, like we had the fact that Tiffany Henyard likes to steal. So we're going to watch him first, and then we're also going to watch a comment from Keith Price, which happens to go a minute over, which is really interesting. And I want to make a correction about Keith Price. I incorrectly identified him in one of our last conversations. So I want to make that distinction and that retraction when we get to that. And then we're going to skip over the part where Robert Hunt goes over some things that are going to be in the upcoming budget, as well as some of the procedural votes. We're going to listen to Tiffany Henyard's supervisor report because obviously it's really short and it's chock full of lies. She called this section new business, which there really wasn't anything new. And then we're going to look at the very end of the video together, right around that 21-minute mark. So let's dig in.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Yes. Trustee Gonzalez. Yes. Trustee Jones. Supervisor Henyard. Yes. Motion passed. Meeting over 6:27.
Oh, she just spilled the tea. Well, no, not really. She didn't spill it. I didn't mean for you guys to see that part. But she didn't spill the tea yet. There's plenty of tea to still spill.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have public comment. You have 2 minutes.
All right, so for the record, they get 2 minutes for public comment. Okay? Now, I counted that Keith Price had 4, but we'll figure that out. You know why that's important.
Michael Smith.
My first comments, they are questions, but they're comments because I know they probably won't be answered by Trustee Gonzalez. But my first question is, are you planning on running for alderman in Calumet City with Thaddeus Jones? Is that why you come week after week and vote no on the bills? Secondly, you second the motion for Supervisor Henyard to be our supervisor. Why do you talk against her if you supported it? The other question is it because maybe you didn't get contracts that you were looking for to do work in the village of Dolton? The second thing is, why do you vote no on the bills? Those bills do include payments that's for you as a trustee. I'm pretty sure those detail your payroll, and you continually get paid, but you vote no on the bills. Secondly, as well as you stop services that's for the residents of this township, senior services, youth services, but every week you vote no. I think you shouldn't get paid as a trustee for that. The second thing is our township assessor still having her office in Calumet City Hall? I believe that is illegal, and she should be here at the township. Some of the things I think that the news media didn't get to hear at the annual town hall meeting was that that we had a surplus here in Thornton Township, and I think that needed to be talked about. I found an article that was in the HR Chronicle, which is home with Flossmoor, and they talked about the $11.2 million that was in the, I'm sorry, it was 4.2 million surplus here in Thornton Township. I never heard the news media discuss that. Let the residents know that we have a surplus. We have been running a deficit for years, and it took our supervisor to come in for us to have a surplus. Never was talked about. As well as for the entire budget, the general fund, there was $6.1 million surplus that was never talked about. But that article is in the Homewood Chronicle. You can look it up. They talked about it. Our local newspapers never talked about it. The local news never talked about it. So kudos to the supervisor, as well as those trustees that do support the things that are going on for putting the township in a surplus, which hasn't been for years. Thank you.
I thought that I wrote his timestamps down right. I wrote that he ended at 5:20. Now, he started at 2:18 and ended at 5:20. Now, you heard her say there was a was it 2 minutes or 3 minutes? Hold on, I thought I wrote it down. Did I write it down? I think she said they got 2 minutes. I'm going to have to go back and listen again. I thought I just wrote that down, but I've written down a lot. Let me go over some notes real quick. I honestly do think that he was given some extra time. He definitely wasn't stopped at the 2 minute mark or the 3 minute mark. He was allowed to finish on his own. There was never a timer that went off or anything. So let me give you my notes. He started off by asking Chris Gonzalez some questions. He asked if Chris Gonzalez seconded the vote for Tiffany Henyard because of some contracts that he wanted to bring in. Well, the honest truth, Michael, God damn, you are so fucking incompetent. Chris Gonzalez didn't second the vote. He actually nominated Tiffany Henyard after they had a secret meeting in Calumet City where she promised him that she would submit to the trustees and do anything they wanted her to do. And then she turned on them. So if it was okay for Tiffany Henyard to meet with Chris Gonzalez in Calumet City for a secret meeting, then it's perfectly okay for the assessor to keep the records in Calumet City, because right now Tiffany Henyard's not even going to work at Dolton. She ain't been to work in over a week. So if it's okay for Tiffany Henyard to mayor remotely, then it should be okay for the assessor to assess remotely, because y'all been harassing her there and you know it. I can't wait till somebody start going through there with some goddamn sage. Some bundles of sage or some anointed oil or something. Just touching the walls with some anointed olive oil. Praying away the negativity and replacing it with the intentions that are necessary for things to go straight. Some of y'all, I think, are going to have to start just slathering your hands up with some Earl before you go in that building and just start touching the walls. And allow your spirit to control the atmosphere. Because there is, as long as you allow Tiffany here to lead, things are going to be crazy. Now, I want you to also take note of where the media was located here. They're in the very back of the room. Now, I've been to several of these meetings before, and the media pit is actually supposed to improve the access the media has. But here it actually restricts them. They're not supposed to be like sequestered anywhere in the room. That's not normal. Okay, I just want to make sure we pointed that weirdness out. Also, Michael Smith goes on to say that Chris Gonzalez should not get paid because he does not vote the way Tiffany Henyard wants him to. I believe that's extortion, Michael Smith. Yep, you're pretty dumb. But you're also part of the same team of a woman who wrote checks to a company, signed the check as the payor, and then went into a check cashing place to cash the check as the payee. She probably endorsed it with her dumb ass. Now, let's talk about this surplus. Because right now there is a $5 million surplus at Thornton Township. So what are you talking about, Michael? There was not a deficit when Tiffany Henyard came in. There is a surplus. There was a surplus when she came in. There is currently a $5 million deficit as it was last calculated. at Thornton Township. It's amazing to me how you just lie. And it became very apparent to me, Michael Smith, what a bitch-ass, bitch-made nigga you are when I saw you kept looking down at a piece of paper to talk because you weren't really prepared. Who wrote your talking points? Because you don't seem connected with the data that you are spewing. It doesn't seem like anything you researched on your own. Because when we research numbers on our own, we're able to say them with conviction. We're able to recite them without having to look at them because we work with those numbers. But you were reading off of a piece of paper with no affect. That means emotion, Michael. With no believable emotion, like you were told to read that. And from what everybody understands, there's nothing in this for you, Michael. Okay. Now, I want to also point out that he wants us to go look at a blog report to support his claim that there was no surplus until Tiffany Henyard got there. He wants us to go look at a blog report. Now, we know better than that, don't we, Breakdown Crew? We don't get our news from blogs. Okay? Just because it's called a chronicle or a journal doesn't make it one. Okay? Okay. Let's continue.
Good evening, everyone.
Now, his time starts at 5:35. I want to make a note of it. If I remember correctly, Tiffany Henyard said they had 2 minutes. But she might have said 3. I want to introduce this guy because I made a mistake in one of our recent conversations. This gentleman's name is Keith Price. He's the one that runs the food pantry. And he's the one who threatened that woman and her family in that comment. This guy right here, he also looks very much like glory to glory to glory to glory to glory to glory to God. Can you help me say glory to glory to glory to glory to glory to glory to God? To the only wise majesty, dominion, and power forever, ever, and ever. Sang Fred. I ain't heard that song in a minute. I need to add that to my my little shit. You know, I love a good song when I can praise and worship myself. Hold on, let me add that song because I ain't heard that in a minute. To the only God, my Savior, be majesty, dominion, and power forever and ever and ever. Be glorified. That's my shit. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him.
That's all I needed. All right. That's all I needed, Fred. You know you my nigga forever. Listen, I was so gracious. I was grateful when I went to Jackson State University. We got to sing backup for Fred Hammond, Dorinda Clark, Karen Clark Shear. We got to sing backup for a whole lot of really big artists, and it was just an amazing experience. And Fred Hammond was always one of the ones who was, because our choir, not the director, so to speak. She was more like the business manager, Beverly. Shout outs to you in the afterlife. She was a big Fred Hammond fan. I think she thought she was going to be his wife. But, yeah, we got to sing with him, and he was awesome. That was an amazing experience. But that is my song, and that's who this looks like. Let me let y'all hear him live for a few minutes, and then I'll bring you the truth afterwards.
It's ironic I didn't know exactly what Mike was going to discuss, but this is actually what I had put down. First of all, I wanted to compliment the supervisor, and the board for two years in a row of being in the black. When the supervisor came in, it was almost budget time, so the numbers were pretty much the numbers. She took over, I think it was a $4.6 million deficit. I ran the numbers from 2017 to current. There was a deficit every year since 2017. No one has discussed that. It's never been mentioned. The last 2 years we have a surplus, and these are audited reports. You can all look them up online. The other thing I wanted to do is compliment the staff. I did it in private. I didn't have the opportunity to do it publicly. But during the annual meeting, it seemed to be a planned attack to stop that meeting, which would have stopped a hell of a lot of services for seniors that depend on it. They tried to table the whole process, which would have probably stopped a lot of money from coming into doing the township. The staff did a great job holding their composure. So I really wanted to get kudos. It was a very hostile environment last meeting, for the annual meeting, I should say. And I just want to thank everybody for keeping it cool and no one making us look bad, or the supervisor or the board as a staff. Nowhere have I seen a meeting where so much disruption was allowed intentionally by the moderator. She actually thought it was funny. She was up there laughing. It was a planned attack so that these numbers and the fact that this township is finally back in the black after 2 years. Don't believe me? Look it up online. The type of attack that we're seeing strictly off of allegations is unheard of. I really thought this was America. I can't even say guilty until proven innocent, because that's what it seems like. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but there's not even any charges filed. So, I mean, I just hope the public really see that this is a power grab for the Southland, and it's being controlled by legislators from Springfield. I'm sure all that will come out. Many of the people that was at that meeting worked for the Senator Napoleon Harris, that's Stephanie, and many other people. And I'd just like to get one more thing out. When I came here 2 years ago, the gas cards, thank you all. The gas cards for the district, they were spending over $5,000 a month on gas. Since we've gotten here, it's $1,200 to $1,600 a month. These are all things that can be proven. There's a lot of savings that no one's talking about. Thank you.
So I'm trying to understand why this man was allowed to speak from 5 minutes 35 seconds on the clock to 9 minutes 28 seconds. Let's just say I misheard and everyone was given 3 minutes. I believe it was 2, but I'm gonna be conservative and say it was 3. Well, this man spoke for almost 4 minutes. He wasn't stopped until 9:09. He should have been stopped at 8:35. So this man was given an extra minute to speak, maybe even 2, based on what? Based on the fact that he was speaking in support of Tiffany Henyard. Now let me go over my notes for his buttery ass. He make me hungry. Sometimes your thighs just make me hungry. He make me want to eat. God damn. Anyway, Keith Price. Now, he said he didn't know exactly what Mike was going to speak about, so he knew Mike was going to speak. So he and Mike were both planted to speak because he knew Mike was going to speak. And Mike knew Mike was going to speak because he came up with a little pre-printed piece of paper that he forgot to pre-read. Now, he says that 2 years in a row, they've been in the black. Now, he said 2 years ago, there was a $4.6 million deficit. But wasn't that the same number Mike just quoted as the current surplus? Well, wouldn't that mean zero? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to get, y'all may need to meet beforehand to get your notes together because you just contradicted what Mike said. Okay? Now, who is this person that was in the corner filming the entire time? This nigga right here. Who is that? Seems to be filming directly at Burgundy Blue Commentary, right? So I pray for your safety, your peace, your strength. If I were you from now on, Miss Burgundy Blue, I would not be traveling without a man with me. I would not be doing this work, going anywhere, showing up anywhere without a man by my side. That is necessary. I guarantee you Dolton and Thornton Township would not be in this position if not for more men with the correct mindset. This could have never happened if there were more fathers and husbands in those areas. Never would have happened. Because those families would have been led by a different spirit. But that's my own opinion. Baby Blue, Burgundy Blue, forgive me. I definitely want, as a woman who's done this work, as a woman who understands that there's always counter surveillance happening at these meetings, like what you see right here. As a woman who's walked out of several meetings and been approached, both by the police, by my comrades, and by the opposition. Okay? I would not be traveling alone. I would find a man I could trust who was big and fine as fuck. Just in case, shit went down. No, you definitely want to make sure you have a man who has your back. You don't want to be out here, going back and forth, and especially as late as these things get and the way things happen. If you have a cousin or a brother or uncle or father or a boyfriend or somebody you can trust to be with you, because obviously Long Island Audit isn't going to do it. He's not going to protect you. He's not going to provide the protection that's going to make sure you get in and out of these places and back to your home safely. When these things went down in my city, I never went straight home. I always went to the house of a man who I knew I could trust. Okay? So this is the word to the wise, from the wise. To anybody, any females who are involved in this work, just make sure you got a male counterpart to work with. Now, let me continue. I heard Keith Price talk about the senior services being cut. Well, the crazy thing is, a lot of the services that Thornton Township provides are supposed to be for everybody. But Tiffany Henyard makes those services available only for seniors and veterans because that's who she cares about. That's who she wants to vote from. She sees everything as a campaign opportunity. So, excuse me, the seniors are saturated with programs, okay? And I don't know how many times they have to bring up their proof of income. I don't know how many times they have to show you their driver's licenses and their bills and information to verify who they are. Like, that's crazy to me that you're continually making these people do this. And then I want us to just take a moment to notice that this man is so fucking unhealthy that he can't even stand here for long without burping. His digestive system, his gut, his internals, his innards are so fucked up that standing up for this long causes air to travel from his belly to his mouth. That's fucking disgusting. And that is not a person I would take any advice from. You got your own work to do, sir. Okay? Before you come out here trying to tell anybody what to do with their political vote, you got some work to do with your internals. Because it's a whole lot of self-love that needs to be developed there. So you'll care about yourself enough that you can stand up and talk for 4 minutes without burping. Fucking fat ass bitch. You don't realize how unhealthy these things make y'all. Yeah, y'all might be getting a lot of money. Y'all might be eating real good. We can tell. But pride goes before destruction, baby. And we see that happening right now. Now, he mentioned that at the meeting, the staff did a great job of holding their composure. Well, I believe it was Tiffany Henyard laughing and giggling and throwing her fist in the air and saying shit she had no business saying. I think she called it a shit show. Keith Price, is that holding her composure when she called the meeting a shit show? Is that holding her composure to use that kind of language in a public meeting? Your township supervisor called the meeting a shit show. And you're congratulating her for holding her composure. She laughed. She ignored people. She showed as much immaturity as her mama. And Stephanie Wiedemann, great job moderating last week. Fuck this nigga. Now, he said that was a planned attack to keep the township from being in the black. He literally said those words together. He said the disruption at that township meeting last week was a planned attack to keep the township from being in the black. And that doesn't even make sense to me. Why would anybody want the township to be in the red? Why? And he said all of these attacks are happening strictly off of allegations. But I have a problem with that. And now I have to pour myself a cocktail. Because we've seen plenty of proof. Tiffany Henyard, you weren't in Selma, Alabama as a township supervisor. You weren't in Jackson, Mississippi as the township supervisor. You weren't in Las Vegas at an economic development conference as the township supervisor. Those aren't allegations. There's proof of that. And we'll get to that in a moment as well. Now, he said there are no charges filed. Bitch, against who? If I understand correctly, this was just a couple hours ago. And I do believe that last Monday, there were charges filed against Keith Freeman, who is the municipality manager of Thornton Township. He is Tiffany Henyard's municipality manager. So is he only there to defend Tiffany Henyard? Is that the only person he's really concerned with? Or is it the fact that he's lying and just saying shit? Nishia and Jing? Shishia, Nishia and Jing? Ni, Shu, Yao, and Jing. Nijidao? How does Shishia? Yeah, asked me to repeat it again like I didn't just say it. He's just lying. He's just saying things that are lies. Pre-written lies. So now let's continue. Oh, he talked about the power grab controlled by legislators from Springfield. Well, keep grabbing power, Springfield. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I don't know Napoleon Harris. I don't know nothing about none of that shit. I just know what's happening right now. Okay? Now, this man was given 4 minutes to speak, and I need to understand why. When an elderly woman who had to fight her way into a meeting on April 1st, 2024 was shorted by 35 seconds, this man was given an extra minute to speak, or maybe even 2, and I don't understand why. But these are the only 2 public comments that happened during this meeting. Robert Hunt is going to get up and say some things, but the mic is bad, and what he says is really brief. I think he only spoke for a few seconds, maybe 5 minutes. And then, so we're going to jump forward to the new business section of this meeting, which I call the supervisor's report, because she's going to find one way or another to defend herself. So let me jump to that moment for us. By the way, if you guys are here and you are enjoying this, I would ask that you go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. And if you have already hit the like button, please go ahead and share this link with somebody else who you think might like it too.
About report. First and foremost, I always want to tell everybody I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Stay prayed up, stay focused, and always go after your visions, your dreams, your goals. We have upcoming events. One I would like everybody to know about is Tech Savvy. A lot of residents come to that. I appreciate you coming out because a lot of seniors and veterans don't know how to utilize their phones, their social medias, do Zoom calls and different things like that. So we've been helping upload that onto their tablets. So if you're interested, come out on April 25th, which is Thursday. It will be in the lower level, and it starts at 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Also, Saturday, May 4th, at Dolton Township, right outside, we will have Cinco de Mayo, and it will be in our parking lot, and it will be from 1 to 5 p.m. That's a whole lot of fun. We have a lot of residents that come out, and we, of course, are over 17 towns, so everybody come out with their kids. It's a ton of fun. We have bumper cars, we have race cars, and then we have bouncy houses, Mexican food, everything. You name it is out there. Last but not least, thank you all for signing up for the Mother's Day celebration. Comedy show, it is packed. It is now closed. That will be Saturday, May 11, 2024, of course, and it will be in the lower level from 4 until 7 p.m. So if you're interested, please come out, guys, because we have a lot of great things going on. Stay tuned to our newsletters. We will be mailing newsletters out to you, emailing them, text blasting them to you so you can know what's going on in the township. I always try to stress to people, don't believe everything you hear, read, see. Come and find out for yourself. Do research. Check it out before you decide. Stop having one-sided narratives because it is not the truth. It's only one-sided, and it's a shame that the media comes out and they only show negative things. They never show the positive things that Dolton Township holds. We do a lot of great things in our township. At the end of the day, I love Dolton Township. I love the people in it, and I think we have a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see us keep on growing. So I just want to point that out and make sure y'all know that, and just please open your eyes and your ears as well. Personnel matters, we don't have any this evening, and do we have any miscellaneous, any birthdays or anything? So now, okay. Next on the agenda is there a motion to adjourn?
Okay, before they motion to adjourn, I would like to just go over my notes of the mayor's report, i.e. the new business. There was absolutely nothing there. But let me just mention something I haven't mentioned in a very long time. When we first started working on this Tiffany Henyard shit, I mentioned something that bothered me that she says, and I haven't said it in a while, so I'm going to say it again. When a person says to you, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it, I've noticed over the course of my life, especially that's something that I've heard a lot in church, right? And I've noticed over the course of my life, that seems to be a saying in some black churches. And I find that it is the most abusive, narcissistic people who say it. It's a choir director, it's a pastor or preacher, it's a ministry leader who's over some sort of power set, like the usher board or something like that. And they'll say, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it, all while they are abusing you. And I love you. This is how you show me love. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change the power that I have to love you. I had a mother who, if she would upset me and I asked her for a few days, just let me call you when I'm ready to talk, she would still call me. It didn't matter if I was ready or not. Oh, we're not going to not speak. Well, can I get over it myself? Can I deal with it myself? Or do I have to submit to the way you want me to be loved by you? Because you're not going to love me the way I want you to love me. You're only going to love me the way you want to love me. And there's nothing I can do about it. Don't pray for me no more. It's an abusive statement I've heard over and over again in the black church. I love you. And I'm going to tell you something. Her intonation here was very different. And I know you guys heard it. She said, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, bitch? Okay, bitches? I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, when it's said that way, there's no mistake, is it? Because some of us are older than text message and instant message. Some of us are of the time where conversation happened over the phone or it happened face to face. So there was no mistake about the energy or the tone. This bitch didn't say, I love you and there's nothing you could do about it. She said, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what she said. Now, I'm having a hard time understanding. Okay, so tech savvy. I'm pretty sure that was government money that was given to the Dolton Township Public Assistance Office to help improve the reach that people had there of being able to use and become comfortable with technology. I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be some STEM classes for some kids, some coding camps for some kids. I'm pretty sure that the government, the federal government, did not give Dolton Township millions of dollars to teach old people how to use apps on their phone and Zoom. But that's what Tiffany wants them to know. Because right before the pandemic, there was an influx of technology classes available where I lived to help older people become comfortable with the different ways their phones worked. And now they have to use them everywhere they go. Just to get into a building, just to pay for something, you have to be able to use your phone. So Tiffany has every intention of taking over Dolton Township. She said, we are going to make sure you get a newspaper by mail, by email, and by text blast. She is going to inundate you with her message. I remember we used to get these communiques from New Birth when I went to New Birth, and it was always the pastor re-preaching his sermon, and they called it a newsletter. And it always included some financial challenge that we had to meet, some offering that we needed to do to prove to God we were serious about the kingdom. And kingdom work and kingdom business. Oh, I know y'all done heard them words before. But all Tiffany Henyard is doing is preparing the seniors to give up more of their data. Now, this whole Cinco de Mayo thing is some bullshit. Enough people have talked about it that I don't feel the need to. This Mother's Day celebration comedy show is some ghetto fabulous bullshit as well. If y'all vote for this woman to be a supervisor because she gave you a Cinco de Mayo party and a Mother's Day celebration comedy show, now, she said, don't believe everything you hear, read, and see. This bitch is telling you, don't believe what you hear, read, or see. Y'all, it was about this time, 2020. It was about June or July 2020. I was in a hotel in Chengdu, China. The whole southeast side of China had got swept away in floods. And we happened to be a little bit more central trying to fly out to come back home. A city I had lived in, Chongqing, had just got swept away in floods. Well, I've explained the mandate of heaven to you guys before and how these huge natural disasters are indications that the current presidential administration should not be there. To keep the people from making that connection, on the news, I literally sat in a hotel room with my ex-girlfriend. We literally watched the news every single night, and they always had English captions. And they also had the people do the news in English. If I remember correctly, this night, we were watching the news. It was in Chinese. And the captions, were there captions? There must have been captions. Because my Chinese ear is okay. But when I went back and watched this again, I believe I must have had captions to make sure I confirmed what I heard. This news anchor said, because the news anchors in China are hired by the government. The news is owned strictly by the government, okay? Independent journalism is almost non-existent, and it's a very dangerous job. So this news anchor, who is a government employee, is on the anchor, and she says, many of you have seen videos on social media telling you that there are floods in the southeast of China. They are all an illusion. Those floods do not exist, and those floods are not happening. That's what they said on the news. Tiffany Henyard said, and one day we'll have to do some real digging into communism so you guys can see the similarities in this bullshit. Tiffany Henyard told people to have tunnel vision to the mess, which we already know is dangerous. Our dads taught us when you drive, you got to look all over the place. Don't just look forward and have tunnel vision. That's how something comes out at you and surprises you. She told these people tonight, don't believe everything you hear, read, and see. Come check it out for yourself. But there's 20 chairs in that room right now. And what she's about to do is going to tell people more than they ever needed to know. And I'm going to ask this one question. I've asked this question because everybody's like, Jedediah Brown is doing great work in Dolton. So I'm going to ask the same question about Tiffany Henyard that I've asked about Jedediah Brown, and I still ain't got an answer to. What tangible results are Tiffany Henyard producing for the people of Thornton Township? Now let's continue. And this is going to go by real quick. So I might have to go back to this mark and watch it real slow again.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Yes. Trustee Gonzalez. Yes. Trustee Jones. Supervisor Henyard.
Yes.
Motion passed. Meeting over 6:27.
Mayor Henyard, you want a minute to talk to ABC 7 about the FBI investigation. Mayor, you have a message for the people.
Do y'all see that shit? She said, Supervisor Henyard, yes, meeting is adjourned. She got up and dipped. Left her attorney there. Oh, we're going to watch that again, and we're going to watch it slow, and we're going to zoom into it. Because that's who she is. She literally just told these people, don't believe everything you hear, read, and see. Come check it out for yourself. And then this is what she does to them.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Yes. Trustee Gonzalez. Yes. Trustee Jones. Supervisor Henyard.
Yes.
Now you see she scooted her chair up while Trustee Jones was voting. She had no intention of sticking around after that meeting. Now, mind you, this is the same woman who we found out last night, about this time last night, was cashing checks that she wrote. It all made everything make sense. I'm sitting here giving them the benefit of intelligence that they might be washing the checks. This bitch is Stacy, Scott, you guys have placed orders in your name. And when the check was approved by the trustees for payment, Tiffany Henyard took those checks to a check cashing place and cashed them herself. And y'all are dodging phone calls. Did she give you some money to make all that make sense for you? Because your name look like shit right now. Your name is on invoices. I guess y'all probably used to that shit.
Motion passed. Meeting over 6:20.
She said meeting is adjourned before the clerk even called the time. So the only time Tiffany Henyard plans to start a meeting on time is if she plans to end it early. That's fucking it's ugly, it's evil, it's ridiculous.
Mayor Henyard, you want a minute to talk to ABC 7 about the FBI.
Who walked out with her?
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Yes. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Jones. Supervisor Henyard.
Yes.
Motion
Thank
passed.
you.
Meeting over 6:27.
Mayor Henyard,
So her attorney knew she was going to leave early. And who is this? Freedom Frank? I recognize the rolls on the back of his head. My device won't zoom in that close. And I believe, is that Keith Freeman in the back? Because we ain't seen him either.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Jones. Supervisor Henyard.
Yes.
Motion
Thank
passed.
you.
Meeting over.
So when she adjourns a meeting, she can get up and walk out. But when the trustees adjourn a meeting, they can't leave.
6:27.
This is a coward, man. Let me see what the people are saying.
Mayor Henyard, you have a minute to...
The people are saying... Let me let it
Seven about the FBI investigation. Mayor, you have a message for the people.
Can't end fast enough. On the run. No heat. Somebody said she's about to be indicted because those other mayors ain't feeling her nonsense. Elvis has left the building.
We can leave out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so have a good one. Take care.
Wait, before we leave, and well, we're not leaving. We still got one more story to cover. But before we wrap up this one, you know what, Miss Burgundy Blue, I appreciate how you throw shade. I'm gonna let the people see it.
Okay, so it was nice to see it for ourselves this time. We got to see her in action. It was nice. Yeah, they said 6:27. How you been feeling? You okay?
Yeah, I'm
Okay. I know they've been getting you online, but you good? Okay, and you take care, okay? Okay.
Oh my God, Burgundy, you have no idea how shady that was. First of all, you are gorgeous. Okay, so when you walk up to a man, Burgundy, you have to understand that when you ask him, is he okay because he been getting punked online, baby, that is so fucking embarrassing to have a beautiful woman remind you that you've been getting punked online and everybody think you ain't shit. I thought that was so funny. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Again, please pop over for her safety, for her expenses, for what she does. Definitely pop over. Throw some money in her Cash App for her gas, for her car insurance, and hopefully so she can hire some security to travel with her, because that's crazy. I know what that's like. I have had security with me when I've done what I did. And word to the wise, that's how my daughter got here, so be very careful. But anyway, let's jump on over to the next video we're going to watch. Now, that video is called What's in the Dolton Subpoenas? Now, we looked at a video last night from Dane Placco and Fox 32 where they covered the Dolton subpoenas. We looked at the video last night when they covered those 29 employees who are all loyal to the mayor who are now included, in this investigation. But this particular story goes a little bit in a different angle, and it talks about that second subpoena that we didn't learn about last night.
News. We've been waiting. This is wonderful news. We've been waiting on this for some time, and now finally, someone has heard us.
Jubilation in South Suburban Dolton after federal agents serve a pair of subpoenas on Village Hall, part of what appears to be a blossoming corruption investigation into Dolton's mayor, Tiffany Henyard.
Today, Fox 32 obtained copies of those two subpoenas, which offer something of a roadmap to that federal investigation. Our Dane Placco has more.
subpoenas.
like to look at them?
Absolutely.
We showed Dolton trustee Tammy Brown the subpoenas that were delivered by 4 FBI agents at Dolton Village Hall Friday afternoon. Directed to the Village of Dolton's custodian of records, they're headlined "Subpoena to Testify Before a Grand Jury." And that's significant because it's our first official confirmation that a federal grand jury has been impaneled to investigate allegations of rampant corruption in Dolton. In fact, the subpoena discloses they began meeting in November of last year.
Oh my God. Someone has heard our cry. Finally, someone has heard the residents of Dolton, and they're actually going to do something about it now.
One of the subpoenas asks for personnel and disciplinary files for 29 Dolton employees. Trustee Brown reviewed the list of names and told us they all have one thing in common.
All of these people are loyal to the mayor. Every last one of them are loyal to the mayor.
Ask you a couple questions. The other subpoena asks for information about Village Administrator Keith Freeman, Mayor Henyard's top deputy, who you may remember tried to block us from talking to the mayor when we did a story about her police security detail last year.
Mayor, why do you need so many officers, details, or your security?
The subpoena focusing on Freeman asks for payments, tax records, and any contracts given to a list of companies, some of which are associated with Freeman according to a search of LLC records.
It would be my somewhat educated guess that there have been allegations raised by third parties that those businesses, or at least some of them, were sham businesses. They didn't really exist. They provided no legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says even though the subpoenas require Dolton to turn over the records to the grand jury on May 13th, it's likely the investigation is nowhere near wrapping up.
You have 2 separate subpoenas for 2 different types of records. And that means it's what I would call a multifaceted or a multi-pronged investigation.
Last week, Freeman was charged with bankruptcy fraud for allegedly underreporting his income at Dolton and Thornton Township by about $100,000. Trustees who've been battling Henyard say after seeing Freeman all over the federal subpoenas, it's time for him to go.
Termination, not suspension, pending investigation. The investigation is ongoing. Termination. Immediately.
The only response to the subpoenas from Mayor Henyard so far came on social media over the weekend when she posted, quote, "To all you clowns that's a part of the circus, stop chasing fake news." In Dolton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
I know it's stressful. So y'all.
All right, let's jump back in. You guys kind of know what I like to do. We're going to go back and watch that video again and just digest the content of it one more time uninterrupted before we break it down. And this is going to be a quick breakdown because we're actually only going to go back to the 1 minute and 50-second mark of that.
This is wonderful.
We don't need to watch the whole video because all of this isn't new to us. So let's go to the point that we want to actually pay attention to. Give me 1 second. How y'all doing out there tonight, by the way? I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It's been good over here. All right, let's start here.
The subpoena focusing on Freeman asks for payments, tax records, and any contracts given to a list of companies, some of which are associated with Freeman according to a search of LLC records.
It would be my somewhat educated guess that there have been allegations raised by third parties that those businesses, or at least some of them, were sham businesses. They didn't really exist. They provided no legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says even though the subpoenas require Dolton to turn over the records to the grand jury on May 13th, it's likely the investigation is nowhere near wrapping up.
You have 2 separate subpoenas for 2 different types of records. And that means it's what I would call a multifaceted or a multi-pronged investigation.
Last week, Freeman was charged with bankruptcy fraud for allegedly underreporting his income at Dolton and Thornton Township by about $100,000. Trustees who've been battling Henyard say after seeing Freeman all over the federal subpoenas, it's time for him to go.
Termination, not suspension, pending investigation. The investigation is ongoing. Termination. Immediately.
The only response to the subpoenas from Mayor Henyard so far came on social media over the weekend when she posted, quote, "To all you clowns that's a part of the circus, stop chasing fake news." In Dolton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's go back and watch it one more time from that minute and 50-second mark, and then we'll go ahead and break it down.
This is wonderful news.
Freeman asks for Freeman, Mayor Henyard's top deputy, who you may remember tried to block us from talking to the mayor when we did a story about her police security detail last year.
Mayor, why do you need so many officers, details, or your security?
The subpoena focusing on Freeman asks for payments, tax records, and any contracts given to a list of companies, some of which are associated with Freeman according to a search of LLC records.
It would be my somewhat educated guess that there have been allegations raised by third parties that those businesses, or at least some of them, were sham businesses. They didn't really exist. They provided no legitimate services. And he was submitting phony invoices to the village, which were being paid.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says even though the subpoenas require Dolton to turn over the records to the grand jury on May 13th, it's likely the investigation is nowhere near wrapping up.
You have two separate subpoenas for two different types of records. And that means it's what I would call a multifaceted or a multi-pronged investigation.
Last week, Freeman was charged with bankruptcy fraud for allegedly underreporting his income at Dolton and Thornton Township by about $100,000. Trustees who've been battling Henyard say after seeing Freeman all over the federal subpoenas, it's time for him to go.
Termination, not suspension, pending investigation. The investigation is ongoing. Termination. Immediately.
The only response to the subpoenas from Mayor Henyard so far came on social media over the weekend when she posted, quote, "To all you clowns that's a part of the circus, stop chasing fake news." In Dolton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
All right, now we're going to watch it again and kind of cut into it, but we are going to start, as I said before, from the minute and 50-second mark, because that's the part that's important for us. And I would actually like to start by taking a look at those documents.
Bina focusing on
this one. This document here. So this is the attachment that talks about Keith Freeman. The other attachment had those 29 employees on it. So let's take a look at this together. It says, hold on, let me turn the captions off. It says, subpoena attachment, Village of Dolton, attention, custodian of records, Dolton, Illinois, 60419, and then there's some numbers there. I wonder if that's, hold on, let me write that number down. Okay, let me see. I think that number is useful. Now, this says, produce certified copies of the following records in your possession. Oh, shit. I need my glasses. Hold on. Where are they? Where are they? Give me 1 second, y'all. I feel like I just had some glasses on, too. I need to find my glasses. I found them. I did. Whew. Hey, boo girl. I'm almost finished, okay, babe? All right, thanks for waiting for me, babe. All right. Oh, had to find my superhero glasses. All right. Now it says, produce certified copies of the following records in your possession, custody, or control. Certified copies of all records in your possession, custody, or control pertaining to the following individuals, whether held jointly or severally as a trustee or fiduciary, as well as a custodian, executor, or guardian, as well as any other entity in which these individuals may have financial interest. So we're not going to play with fucking semantics, okay? Give us the document. I'm not sure why this was redacted. Oh, that's his social security number, which is absolutely trash right now. So certified copies to include all background records, including applications. I'm going to start here where it says to include, and then we'll go up and look at the entities that are being questioned, okay? I think it's important to do it that way so we know what they want from these entities. So it says to include all background records, including applications for employment, personnel files, credit checks, or background investigations for the above named individual and or entities. Also, all employment, now mind you, this is to the village of Dolton. They want this information, okay? All employment or payroll records to include records disclosing the dates of employment, wages or commissions paid, direct deposit election forms. That's where they're going to find out you had your village employment income put on that green dot card, Keith Freeman, with your dumb ass. Stupid. It's all electronic. They can find anything. God damn, when you're smart, you know. She said, the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. And your dumb ass out here trying to think you smart. Okay. Ka-clink, bitch. It says, ACH authorization forms, checks, front and back, used for any payments to the above named individuals and or entities. It says records of time and attendance for the above named individual and entities, because how could he be working for Thornton and Dolton at the same exact times? Disciplinary files for the above named individual and or entities. Records of work performed, including assignments, position, title, responsibilities, contract modifications, proposals and dates of employment, and wage and tax statements. Forms W-2, showing the above named, the bottom of this is missing. Now, these are the entities from which this information is being sought. Now, they want the information from the village of Dolton because I believe that the feds know that Tiffany Henyard has been making payments to these companies knowing they're not real companies, okay? When he said third parties, I believe they're talking about the trustees. So they want information about Keith Freeman, Collab Inc., Collab Leaders, Keith Freeman LLC, Heirs to Heaven, Freeman Ventures, Rabble Raiser Incorporated, who's probably, paying Jedediah Brown, Collab Equity Crowding, Collab Equity Investment Security, Government Staffing Advisors. Now, all of these documents are supposed to be presented for these entities. Now, who